There's a bag on the floor, and before it's even zipped, you're already forgiving them for something they haven't said out loud yet. This isn't about a real crisis. It's about how good you've gotten at accepting an explanation you would reject from anyone else, as long as this person is the one crying while they give it to you. You know this scene. Bags on the floor, or tears on the edge of the bed, or a car parked outside with the engine off. Doesn't matter which one you've lived. What matters is the tone. Quiet, heavy, careful not to look at you directly, because looking at you might mean actually explaining something. They say they need space. They say they're overwhelmed. They say they need to figure out who they are outside of this. And they say it in the exact voice of someone carrying something too big to name. Every internet-approved word gets used. Not breaking up, protecting their peace. Not leaving, holding space for their own growth. Notice what that vocabulary does. It moves the entire conversation out of your reach. You can question a decision. You can't question a diagnosis. So the second the word overwhelmed leaves their mouth, you're not allowed to be hurt anymore. You're only allowed to be understanding. You think you're being patient. You're actually being managed. And you sit there and take it. Because how exactly do you argue with someone who claims they can't even hold their own mind together? You can't get angry at a hurricane. You can't demand loyalty from someone who says they're falling apart. So you nod. You give the space. You call it being the supportive one. And somewhere in that story, you already know you're just the person standing still, while they walk out slowly enough that it doesn't look like walking out. Here's what that space actually looks like once you're not in the room. It doesn't stay empty. It never does. The same person who couldn't answer a single text without their whole nervous system apparently collapsing is fully capable of getting dressed, going out, and staying out past midnight 3 days later. The same crisis that made them too fragile to talk to you is somehow not too fragile to survive a bar, a new number in their phone, a version of themselves that looks nothing like the one who sat on your bed and cried. A crisis too fragile to answer one text message, strong enough to survive 3 hours of getting ready for somebody new. That's not a coincidence. That's a timeline. The confusion didn't arrive on its own. It arrived the exact week a new option did, and it will keep flaring up for exactly as long as that option is still deciding whether to stay. This isn't someone lost in the woods trying to find themselves. This is someone keeping two situations warm at the same time, and using your compassion as the thing that buys them the room to do it. You'll notice something else, if you're honest enough to look. The crisis never once got in the way of anything they actually wanted. It never blocked a night out, never delayed a reply to the person it was actually about, never once cost them anything. The only thing it ever successfully paused was you. So when the crisis clears up right after they've made their choice, are you going to call that healing? Or are you finally going to call it what it was the whole time? Now here's the part that's actually about you, and it's not going to feel good. You didn't create the lie. You didn't cause the crisis. That's theirs, start to finish. But you accepted an explanation from this person that you would have laughed out of the room from anyone else. A coworker tells you they need space to find themselves in the middle of a project. You don't hold their desk for them indefinitely. A friend goes vague and disappears the exact week someone new shows up. You notice the pattern immediately. You noticed it here, too. You just didn't apply it, because applying it meant admitting the relationship was already over. And it was easier to defend a story to your friends that you didn't fully believe yourself. That's the actual choice. Not falling for it once. Choosing, every single day since, to keep believing the version that hurt less. Think about what the honest version would have actually required. One direct question, asked plainly, without the softening. Are you leaving? Not are you overwhelmed? Are you leaving? That sentence was available to you the entire time. You didn't ask it because some part of you already knew the answer, and the not knowing felt safer than the confirmation. The crisis wasn't just their shield. You were holding it up too. You think you were being loyal. You were just avoiding the one conversation that would have ended this on your terms instead of theirs. So when you tell your friends they're just going through something, are you protecting their reputation? Or are you protecting yourself from admitting you saw this coming and stayed anyway? The crisis was never real. The space was never about needing room to think. And every day you called it something else instead of what it was, cost you the one thing you were actually trying to protect. The ending where you got to walk away first. So, I'm asking you right now, are you leaving or are you going to stay? Either way, thank you for being here.